Hey again, and welcome to Error Bites, the bite-sized mini devlog served as a scrumptious platter selection while the main meal of combat is still in the kitchen. Based on the poll from a little while ago, this episode will be on the subject of traits. Remember those? They're only the first half of the title. Well, in terms of the game, we've only implemented a choice few, the simple stat change ones like strong, weak, etc. But they accomplish a lot more than just small buffs and nerfs to your character, which I'll be breaking down in detail here. Traits come in two, technically three, forms, with each of them also affecting physical attributes, which we plan to do a bit later down the line. Good traits are all positive increases to your abilities, whether it be big, which gives plus 6 HP and makes the pilgrim 10% bigger, wealthy, which gives you plus 50 silver, the game's currency, and swaps pilgrim's bag for a sack of cash, or destined, which gives you a small all stats up and gives the pilgrim a nice sparkle effect. Sometimes, traits are more unique, such as swift, which lowers enemy accuracy by 10% when you fall below 40% HP, along with increasing the pilgrim's idle animation speed when the trait activates. There's also experienced, which makes you deal plus 20% more damage against elite and boss enemies. It also gives you a cool eye patch, which is equally as valuable. Lastly, there's pretty, where a shop gives you 25% discount because
Oh no, he's hot!
Pilgrim also gets sparkly eyes. On to negative traits. There's a negative equivalent to each good stat, and are generally the same deal really. Some are simple stat nerfs like dumb, which lowers your int stat, used for magic, by 1, and gives Pilgrim a lovably dim expression. We chose to make it so that negative traits are rarely equal to their positive counterparts, as there's a rare chance you get both, which I think is funny. But in the case that you do, the positive version will slightly win over the negative, usually giving you a simple +1. Other stat downs are insomniac, making it so you lose 1 point of respite while resting in an oasis. See this episode for more on those. It also gives Pilgrim tired, weary eyes. Same, my friend. The last stat change for now is sensitive, which lowers the debuff resist by 20% and gives Pilgrim a slight pink tint to his sprite. For the special bad traits, there's ill, which lowers the healing you receive when travelling between battles, forcing you to be more careful with your HP. This one adds a green gradient over the Pilgrim. Next is hopeless, which makes failure a slippery slope, as falling below 33% HP gives you -1 to all stats. This understandably makes the Pilgrim sad. Last negative trait example is forgetful. This stinger of a trait makes you forget one positive trait of your choice. It also gives the Pilgrim a dunce cap as insult to injury. This understandably makes the Pilgrim sad. Now, what's the third group of traits then? That'll be special traits. These are still good or bad, but they're not all able to be acquired by the player, and the ones that can are gained from special situations, namely events. These are all unique, so I'll pick one good and one bad, so as not to spoil too much. An example of a good one is thieving, which steals money equal to the damage dealt by a player. Note, positive traits are still bad for the player if they're possessed by an enemy. It's good for them, not for you. The visual for this one is a pair of money bags surrounding the enemy. Finally, the last trait of all for today is complacent! Yay! This one's a deadly trait, which makes your stats all decrease by 1 every turn. This understandably makes the Pilgrim sad. The visual here is the Pilgrim's idle getting slower every turn that passes. It's only really planned for powerful enemies so they don't just dominate forever, but just remember, we could use it.
You only survive because I let you. You only exist because I allow it.
Fun game time! Look at this big old trait list and in the comments tell us what your positive and negative trait would be in real life. Do you think you'd do alright in the oubliette? Mine are probably trained in insomniac. You can tell from my tired eyes and desperate clutching of my animation degree. Dennis said he's experienced and stressed. You can tell from his tired eyes and desperate thinking about his degree in game dev. Nando, our musician, went with precise and hesitant. You can tell from his precise eyes and hesitant reading of the music sheet. And with that, I hope you enjoyed the peek at the traits. Come back next time when I'm not so complacent to just sit here and twiddle my thumbs for another episode. Until then, ciao for now. Special thanks, of course, to patrons You Lose Some, Jesso Doodles, Natalie Layton, Venomous Squirrel, Corval, and as always, my mum. Thanks, mum.